A Donald Trump presidency, we will finally evict all of these illegal aliens that are coming here and stealing jobs from Americans. If you break into my house, should I just accept you because you washed my dishes and made my beds? I say no. I say you need to go back and come back in the right way.
So is that what the Indians should have told white Americans? The original illegal alien or European white folk in America?
Agreed.
And so should the Indians stand up today and say deport all white folks back to Europe?
Well, should we learn something from their mistake? Because we are here now.
Or should you learn something from their compassion to give other people an opportunity like was given to you and your ancestors? Learn from their compassion. That's what you should learn from.
I say learn from their mistakes.
Letting in the white man was the worst mistake that the Indians ever could have made. I agree with you. That was one of the greatest mistakes. Even right there in South Africa, they got a similar problem.
How many white men have been allowed to say that they felt threatened by a black man and they killed that black brother, and an all-white jury come back and say not guilty? You mean to tell me that Mr. Penny in New York, who choked that mental health patient, our black brother, to death, and Mr. Penny was not even threatened by that brother on that subway? He was talking crazy to other people, and Mr. Penny, a military veteran, choked that brother to death, and he was never even threatened by him, and the jury said not guilty.
For us, but let's get back to the immigrants. I would say to the Hispanic and Mexican community, what you got to do now, hook up with the black community and unite in political power. Because if Mexicans and black people unite in Texas, we can control the governor, we can control the lieutenant governor, and we can control politics in Texas, period. I'm saying to Latino brothers and sisters, don't fight them by yourself. If you hook up with black people and we unite, I'm telling you, we can run Texas and then pass laws to deal with those who hate.
Just how serious these devils are, and what they will do to disrupt black organizations, disrupt black leaders. Every youth and young activist or activist, you should absolutely read Operation COINTELPRO. If you don't study J. Edgar Hoover and the counterintelligence program of the FBI against black leaders and black organizations, you're not qualified to lead. You need to see what these people did. Because faces change, but the game remains the same, brother.
Why don't you move to a different country? Why are you staying here? Young 10-year-old, very intelligent-looking young lady, a black young lady, who will not stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in her classroom. She doesn't want to stand up because apparently she believes that black Americans need a lot more to be done in this country. You know what I believe, Quanel? And I know you supported her publicly. I think at 10 years old, she has no real understanding of what America is. So I wonder if her parents have sat her down and explained what Americans have given their lives, white, black, red. It doesn't make any difference. They stood and they fought and they died for this country, and she doesn't want to do anything to honor them?
Matt, she comes from a family of military service members. Her father's is a retired military service member also, who served this nation well with great dignity.
Good.
Her mother's a very intelligent woman. What white people need to understand
Just
is that,
white people?
Yes, please, let me explain. That national anthem was written by Francis Scott Key, a slave owner.
Oh, here we go.
Who demonized and hated black slaves and black people.
Some white men are saying all blacks are illegals in the United States, and immediately he said that statement, he regretted it. He was schooled, and not just schooled, he was taught history. This video you're going to watch is gonna be an emotional one. This video is gonna explain a whole lot about white supremacy and what they actually think about black people. The video you just watched about Quanel X explaining why blacks are important is just the tip of the iceberg. I love Quanel X explanations on matters like this, and I love how he phrases it. Now, before I want to get into the video and show you more clips of what we're talking about, if you're new to this channel, please do it to subscribe to our channel, share this video as much as possible, because we're here to spread out black culture, we're here to spread the message, and there's just only one thing we can do: speak out. So yeah, the video you just watched, I want you to notice something. The white man only keeps insisting on the fact that they have fought for this country. The question here is, did they just fight for this country, or they both blacks and whites actually fought for it? I guess we can say both blacks and white fought for this country, but why is he only eliminating, or why is he only insisting on the white man's effort? That's what we are about to find out. Let's get into more clips.
Go research the third verse where he says, "There's no refuge in this country for the hireling or the slave. Both should be turmoil to the grave."
How's her parents doing?
This is a man
Are they successful?
that promised turmoil for black people to the
So
grave.
her-
Would you ask
her
Jewish children
parents
to say
are
a pledge
successful.
to a German
Of
anthem that disrespects Jewish people?
they're
No, you
living
would
in
not.
Germany,
No,
sure.
you would not.
Well, sure.
That disrespects Jewish people?
Then
No,
why
you would not.
you certainly can kneel down. In America, you have the right to do that.
America looked at the same way at Rosa Parks when she refused to get up and give up her seat to a white man on the bus. But history vindicated her.
things.
History vindicated
Two
her.
different
America
things.
demonized Harriet Tubman for freeing slaves from slavery, but history vindicated her. So I say to that young girl, you stand strong, stand up, and stand for what you believe in. And to all of those who are too coward to do it, don't get in that young girl's way. Others
What
like
would
her,
you like
support
her,
that young
What
girl.
would you like her to say to the men and women who have fought for this country like I ran into over the weekend? The black men and women who fought for this country, and some who gave their
And
lives.
ask the black men and women who served America in its military, like in the Independence War. We helped America get it, and we were still slaves afterwards. Ask those in Vietnam who gave.
Did you just realize something there? That white man forgot about one thing. He was just focused on the script, and the moment he was taken off script, the moment Quanel X mentioned the fact that you whites were the original aliens, the discussion flipped. You could feel the pulse. You could feel his brain thinking. Think about it for a moment. If the original Americans decided not to be compassionate and bring in those white people, could America have existed today? Of course not. Of course not. But guess what? You've come to someone's land, you've invaded it, and then you introduce slaves into your country. That's we all the black folks. And then you really want to send us back. In fact, you want to send black people back. Meanwhile, you were the original aliens in this country. If they were ever to trace roots back to the original aliens, I guess all whites will leave. I just get so. And in fact, if they were giving these Indians a choice to choose between sending black folks or white folks away, I guess we both know the answer. Because who has suffered the most? In fact, I love the way Quanel X places this situation. We should learn from their compassion and not from the mistakes, because it's actually these Indians who have learned the hard way. Let's get into more clips.
Well, if you don't like it, why don't you just leave? And that question right there is the tell. Because white Americans cannot fathom why black and brown people will criticize a country that we still stay in. And that is because white Americans' nationalism is their identity, not principles. See, black, brown, and indigenous people have peoplehood. We have lineage, we have memory, we have culture that's older than the American flag. Our identity exists with or without America. And white Americans don't have that. Because remember, most of them were not nobles. They were not royalty. They were Europe's cast-offs, criminals, rapists, debtors, and the violently poor that were exported.
You know what's interesting about this clip that I just brought in from Quanel X? It's because when a black man commits crime, it's like blacks are always the people responsible for such things. But when something heinous like this is done by a white man, it disappears completely. Now, I'm not here to say both blacks and whites do not commit crimes. I'm just speaking about realities today. That's just what happens. A black man's crimes are always the loudest. But the reverse is not true. Obviously not. Let's watch more.
To stolen land. The society that put them on the bottom of the hierarchy rid themselves of them and then shipped them here where they built up a hierarchy that put them at the top. They invented whiteness to cling to. They invented something that gave them a sense of identity, something they could invent that made them think they were superior, and indoctrinated everyone else by threat of violence and force and death to believe that what they were inventing was true. They wrapped their entire self-worth in a nation that they felt that they could finally dominate. And that is why they cling to that flag, to the anthems, to the pledge, because that's all they have. So when we say, hey, this country harms us, they don't hear a call to repair. They instead hear a threat to their identity. When Quanel told him all the reasons why Black people believe that we should not have to stand up for an anthem or pledge our allegiance to a country that's never put us anywhere but at the bottom, that white man said, well, then why don't you leave? Because they hear a threat to their identity, that's why the solution is always for us to leave. But here's the part they choke on, just like Quanel said. This country ain't theirs. This country was stolen from indigenous people, built by enslaved Africans, and maintained by exploited labor. We didn't come here chasing some dream. Our ancestors were brought here in chains. So don't ask us why we stay. Ask yourselves why you won't leave. I believe they will not leave because deep down they know that this nation, this country, this America is the only thing standing between them and finding out who they really are, the type of people they really come from. And that's why a Black child choosing to sit down for the Pledge of Allegiance threatens you, terrifies you, because it's not disrespectful, it's honest. Black people's relationship with white people in America has been one of narcissistic abuse, and it's just like a narcissist to say, don't talk about all the ways in which I hurt you. Congratulate me for giving you the smallest bit. Tell me how great I am. Don't look too closely about the wrongs I've done because that didn't happen. Just like a narcissist.
Why don't you move to a different country? Why are you staying here?
Tell me why they ask us, why don't we leave when they brought us here, right? I didn't ride over here on a boat because we wanted to. Our family was brought here out of no goodwill and used as slaves. And on top of that, to this day, people still fight like this white man on the screen talking about how, well, why don't you leave? Well, why don't we all stop the hate? Because that's all this is. To have any kind of disregard for a different race, you purely and basically are saying, I'm dumb. Because what do you mean? Different cultures are beautiful. Different ethnicities are beautiful. Even the white people.
Defends Mexicans and Native Americans.
I told everybody that I'm in remission. I am cancer free. And I want to thank everybody that has prayed for me, that has come up to me and been so kind to me. And you know what? The Immigrant Free Day. I think about these individuals. You know something? When you do what I did, when you work hard, when you do what you're told, when you go where you're supposed to go, and you pray to God, then good things happen. If one day you decide you're going to do none of those things, then what may happen is exactly what happened to these so-called immigrants, many of them illegal, who decided not to go to work a particular day to somehow get across some kind of message. They get fired the next day. Welcome to America.
Matt, you know, I am happy that you're in remission. To God be the glory. But it is amazing how you could beat cancer and be in remission and your heart still be so cold and hard. It is amazing how you would speak that way about immigrants when you call them so-called immigrants. You're right, they're so-called immigrants.
Some are illegal.
Because they're only coming back home. Texas, Arizona, and California were stole from the Mexicans. So they're so-called immigrants because they're coming back home. And when you speak about if you work hard and do the right thing and be good to people, well, guess what? That's not the history or the legacy of your ancestors.
You got to come through the front door.
White folk didn't come through the front door. White folk kicked open the back door and killed everything else in between to conquer America.
Well, why do you,
they were not good to people that they met. They didn't show hospitality to the Indians.
You're trying to avoid what we're talking about.
They didn't do that.
Here.
They weren't hospitable.
You're trying to avoid what we're talking about here, and you're going to go back 200-300 years.
What I'm trying to do.
Why don't we talk about what's taking place over the weekend?
What I'm trying to do is try to tell white people like you, stop throwing rocks at the immigrants when you all live in a glass house. You all didn't come to America the right way or the godly way.
Yes, you do. You do the things the correct way. And in 2017, the correct thing to do is come through the front door. And these are people that snuck into this country. And so we're all supposed to allow that to happen? That's not how it works. You're not going to get what you're looking for.
And
you got
Now, I love the fact that Quanel X is always very calm while he speaks, right? I just love he listens very well, articulates what's the point and shoots exactly where it's supposed to be hit. See, the truth is this. We understand the fact that law is law, right? You don't have to come to another man's country illegally and all that. But what about the folks that were already here? What about the folks who are paying their taxes? They're trying to improve their economy and all that. They are not known for crimes. They are not known for decoratory things and all the likes. What about them? And the truth is, you cannot eliminate history. As much as America was, let me say, formed in some certain year, the truth is, these people came into this country and they received compassion from another group of people. They did. So why can that same compassion not be shown to people who are paying taxes, who are doing the right thing, and you just want to take care of their families as well? I love the fact that he brings out that some cities, some states actually belong to the Mexicans, the Latinos, and the likes of the rest, right? It's so sad. Sometimes when I think about this for a minute, I'm like, we humans are the only people who pay rent, who fight ourselves to live in a free land. Because if we look at animals, for example, outside humans, right, they live freely. Yes, they don't have to pay or all that, but at least they are zoned, but they don't have to pay. At the end of the day, we are the most intellectual beings, and we have to realize that God gave us this intelligence for a particular reason. Well, this next clip is going to explain much more.
Work. You got to come through the front door. I understand that.
I'm saying they should not have to sneak back into a territory that the legacy of that territory belonged to their own people. But let's just say for the sake of the law, they broke the law. Okay, I'll give you that. But at the end of the day, brother, where is the human compassion that the ancestors of Indians showed your community? You all won't show that to nobody else. What you want it all showed to you.
Let's stay in America. There was no America back, what you're talking about. You're taking something and trying to turn it into something that it's not. Let's talk about the rules and the laws that exist in the United States of America.
This is America, but America the beautiful has been America the ugly toward too many people of color. And all we want is the same thing you all enjoy, the complexion for the protection.
Well, I tell you what,
all got in America. We don't have that.
Do that when somebody crosses your property line and wants to come into your home and sit down in your living room and eat out of your refrigerator without ever asking you or without being a member of your family.
All the immigrants are not doing that. So stop that, brother. That's a hype. That's a lie, and it's racist, man.
It's not a hype. It's exactly what they want.
They're not all doing that.
He was talking bad about Mexicans, and he got put in his place.
Governor Greg Abbott wants to make sure that Houston, the city of Houston, is put under the same microscope as any city that isn't allowed legally to be the quote-unquote sanctuary city. And this is what we do here in the city of Houston. People come into the city of Houston illegally. They're allowed to stay. There is only so much that our law enforcement officers are willing to do, that the DEA is willing to do, that the border agents are willing to do. Why in the world don't we go after those that are here? Well, that's what Abbott wants to change, and I agree. And as soon as we make sure that in the state of Texas, if Houston keeps conducting itself the same way that San Antonio and other cities conduct themselves, then no money is coming to Houston from the state. We need to do that on a state level. We also need to do it on a federal level.
But, Matt, my problem with this is, why are we so worried about getting rid of all of the Mexicans or Hispanics that are quote-unquote here, if they're illegal or not? At the end of the day, many of them are paying taxes. Many of them have been here for generations and decades. And, Matt, trying to get rid of 4 or 5 or 3 million people all at once is not going to work. We don't have the resources.
We don't have to do it all at once.
And secondly, Matt, listen, there is no such thing as an illegal Mexican immigrant coming into Texas, because they're only coming home Texas, Arizona, and California was stolen from the Mexicans.
Don't start
this
that
all belongs to them. So they're only coming home, and then here it is, you white folks stole the land from the Indians, but yet you're the natural, real illegal immigrants.
So let's start with the things you said that are already wrong. First of all, they're coming here, they're not paying any taxes. You're telling me they're paying taxes? They're not paying taxes because nobody knows who the heck they are. No, they're not paying any taxes.
Matt, when they buy a product, they pay a tax on it.
Let's continue.
When they buy a car, they pay a tax on it.
You come into this country illegally. That is a law that you're breaking. And that's why they have to be sent back to wherever they came from. They want to come through the front door. That is the correct way to come in. And the city of Houston has to stop allowing this, or we're never going to get them to stop coming in here. Look, that's what we got to do. Follow the law.
But Matt, where is the compassion that the indigenous Indians had for white people in this country?
Why do you keep going backwards?
They let you all come in.
What are you going
and
backwards?
You came in and raised a whole lot of hell.
Don't start.
Trump
start
called
bringing up
Mexicans
history
rapists.
to try and explain
He called
what's
them
going
criminals.
on today.
Trump called the Mexicans illegal criminals coming into America. But the biggest illegal criminal ever come into America was white people.
So you don't give a damn if people break into this country?
I don't give a damn.
I wonder what's going to happen when they come and rob your house.
I don't give a damn about hypocrites who came here illegally and stole all of this and now want to blame them for only coming back home. To all of the Mexicans, don't worry about this. Just keep having babies, and in 30 years, all these white folks will be under your control.
To Americans, let's stand up and do what the hell we're supposed to do and stop letting the city of Houston be an open door. This ain't no sanctuary city.
Don't listen to
that.
This
is a real city.
Just keep having.
I think this is a fantastic law. It is time to start enforcing the laws that are on the books instead of the state and local officials legislating from their own little tiny offices.
It's an awful law because it's nothing more than a legal way for law enforcement to racially profile Mexicans and Hispanics. I would say to the Hispanic and Mexican community, what you got to do now, hook up with the black community and unite in political power, because if Mexicans and black people unite in Texas, we can control the governor, we can control the lieutenant governor, and we can control politics in Texas, period. I'm saying to the Latino brothers and sisters, don't fight them by yourself. If you hook up with black people and we unite, I'm telling you, we can run Texas and then pass laws to deal with those who hate us.
You're advocating for criminal activity, Quanel. These people are not here lawfully. They need to do what our ancestors did, what many Mexicans have done.
No, wait a minute.
Many, don't interrupt
me.
Your
ancestors came here illegally. Wasn't nothing legal about your ancestors. They came illegally and they murdered, they raped, they pillaged a whole race of people. This country, Texas, Arizona.
Yeah, I think that last part I had to show you guys, because at the end of the day, most people they take black people as violent people. But the truth is, history has proven to us many times that blacks are not the violent ones, right? We are never the violent ones, and never has it been we've been. The thing is this, right? Imagine coming into another man's territory, taking their lands, taking their women and all the lives, resources and all that, and you still have the mind to call them savages. Imagine that. For the longest period, I've never heard an African man or an African country go to colonize another one. In fact, colonize a white man's country. Never ever heard that in my life. But guess what? Who are the violent ones? They are always associated with us, the black people. This narrative has to change. History has said it so many times, even the ones that have been hidden for the longest of years. White people are always the ones who have caused harm to others, not only to blacks, but to other races as well. I'm not here trying to advocate for violence or anything. I'm just trying to spread the message that at the tail end, blacks are not the one who are the violent people. I think a lot of white people fear the fact that they have done so much to us that if we get in power, as he said, we're going to do exactly what they did to us years ago. But that's not us. That's not us. We all can agree for a fact that black people are the most welcoming race. Black people welcome people that they don't even know. So I truly believe that this narrative has to change. The narrative of having to deport people, the narrative of the fact that they call black people savages, the narrative of the fact that black people have to go back to white folks' farms and all the rest have to change. We're in that era where we shouldn't even be seeing videos like that. Because if they took these people and put them, if roles were reversed, for example, they won't even go on social media to be talking about deporting people. They will not talk about calling people savages. The boys, anytime I think about it, it makes my mind want to crack. Because you terming the original owners of the United States as savages is crazy enough. It is. But that's so far the reality we're living in today. We're just advocating for one thing so far. Just this one thing. We want respect for every race. We don't want to feel like one race is dominant than the other. We all contribute to society. We all are trying to make society better. Blacks especially have gone through the most. We have suffered the most. And it's time for that narrative to change. It's time for things to get better. It's absolutely time. At the end of the day, if we don't come out to speak, if we don't send this message out, then no change occurs. Thank you for watching this video. If you've loved content like this and you like the message we share on this YouTube channel, please do well to subscribe to this channel and share it to as many people as possible so that they get to know and find out the truth about us, the black people, and what we are fighting for. Thank you once more. I'll see you in another video.